If you've been binging the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina like I have, I think you'll probably agree that Miss Wardwell is hands down the most interesting character on the show. I mean, not the original Miss Wardwell. Despite loving horror movies, she seems pretty boring compared to Madam Satan.
Let's not be catty bitches,
Lilith, aka Madam Satan, aka Miss Wardwell 2.0, exists in a bit of a gray area when it comes to Sabrina. She's simultaneously mentoring, protecting, manipulating, and sabotaging Sabrina at every turn, all in the name of Lucifer himself. She's a true Slytherin, ambitious, cunning, and cutthroat. But after the events of the Mephisto Waltz, I have to wonder if she's fundamentally changed her ways.
Rise, mortals, and chill with me while we discuss Satan, darkness, and how tasty mortal flesh can be. I am your Queen of Night, Whitney Van Laningham, and I've gotta ask ya,
is Madam Satan still evil? Before we get started, I'd like to shout out our super nerd sponsor of the day, Roni Mbaru. Thanks to awesome fans like Roni, we get to keep bringing rad new Nerdwire videos to you every week. Want to help support our little team by donating as little as $1 a month? Head on over to Nerdwire's Patreon page via the link in the description and figure out which donation tier works for you. Broke as a joke? Same, but you can still help. Share our videos with your friends, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed to Nerdwire. Now back to Chilling with Sabrina! If you haven't caught up all the way with Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 2, turn this off and figure out what you're doing with your life.
watch Sabrina. The Dark Lord wants your soul.
I thought it was time we caught up on a few things.
Ready to talk Lilith with tons of spoilers? Cool. Let's start at the beginning, like the biblical beginning. Way back to the dawn of man, Lilith was the first wife of Adam, aka Adam from Adam and Eve, but refused to be subservient to him, so she was kicked out of Eden and replaced by his literal side piece. Damned to walk the apocalyptic wasteland alone, Lilith eventually stumbled upon Lucifer Morningstar. The two found companionship in each other, and Lilith nursed the fallen angel back to health, becoming the first witch in the process.
I healed him. I wasn't just the first woman, you see. I was the first witch, too. Lilith.
With a common enemy in God, Lucifer promised Lilith a chance at vengeance, power beyond her imagination, and a spot at his side as Queen of Hell. Lilith was enamored by his power and charm, and pledged her soul to the seemingly loving Morningstar. Over time, however, corruption took a hold of him, turning him into a fully abusive goat prick. Still, Lilith had pledged herself to the Dark Lord, so for millennia she worked alongside him in countless atrocities as they plotted to take down God and his kingdom.
I'm the mother of demons. The dawn of doom. Satan's concubine. I'm Lilith, dear boy.
During this time, she gave birth to hordes of demons, earning her the title of Mother of Demons.
And then, Demon Mother, I will slaughter.
Fast forward to modern day, where Madam Satan is tasked with leading Sabrina Spellman down the path of darkness, getting her dark baptized, and guiding her through a prophecy that involves perverting the miracles of Jesus. To assume the role, she murders and nabs the skin of Brina's favorite teacher, the mild-mannered Mary Wardwell. Which, side quest, Miss Wardwell was supposedly a horror buff, but come on! What kind of horror fan sees a ghost lady in the middle of the woods and stops to pick her up instead of calling the police? Has she never seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
You're all gonna die.
God damn it, Mary! Even the pilot episode of Supernatural tells you not to do this!
Take me home.
Sure, get in.
There's no denying that during her tenure as Miss Wardwell, Lilith certainly is wicked. She subtly tricks Sabrina into torturing Principal Hawthorne with spiders, who, don't worry, she'll eat alive later on. She helps exorcise the demon Apophis from Theo's Uncle Jesse, only to relish in murdering him with voodoo soon after.
It was all just too much for you.
She slits the throat of a teenage virgin to summon the Greendale 13 in order to force Sabrina into signing the Book of the Beast. But although there's blood on her hands, she's painted in a far more sympathetic light than someone like Father Blackwood or Lucifer. Unlike the targets of their brutality, Lilith's on-screen victims almost always have earned their deaths through their own unlikability. And sure, luring a teenager to the middle of the woods to slit his throat is evil, but that douche lord teen was also shown to be a borderline date rapist, so yeah, if she had to blood sacrifice a virgin, at least it was a shitty one.
Phoebe, slow down.
You're the one who suggested we come out to the woods.
This is an example of a little trick writers use to keep villains bad without tipping them past the point of irredeemability. Because surprise, surprise, they're gonna flirt with redemption later on in the narrative. It helps to imagine every character on a sliding scale of morality, where every action they make moves them up and down the scale. Doing evil things to innocent characters takes away more points than doing evil things to evil ones. In fact, sometimes being bad to bad guys actually causes the morality of said bad action to cancel itself out.
Listen to me, we don't have much time before Batty Bat realizes I've been trolling her domain. What? Who? Batty Bat, she's a sleep demon.
This is why Madam Satan can be the most frequently bad character on the show without losing sympathy from the viewer. She pushes this trick up until her ultimate test of character, which comes at the precipice of her moral event horizon. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it essentially is the line where if a character does a morally repugnant act to cross it, there's no turning back, as if they entered a moral black hole with no escape. For Lilith, this towing of the moral event horizon occurs in Season 2's Lupercalia episode, where she plans to take out her boredom and jealousy on the students of Baxter High by poisoning the punch bowl at the Valentine's Day dance.
Mary Wardwell, are you spiking the punch?
But before she gets the chance to exterminate an entire student body, Ms. Wardwell's long-lost fiancé Adam sweeps in and rescues her soul.
Don't judge me.
Judge you? Mary, I want to dance with you. May I?
While Lilith plans to murder Adam at first, she eventually falls for him and learns from his humanity. When contrasted against Adam, it becomes clear to Lilith that her relationship with the Dark Lord is nothing but abusive.
I promise I'll never hurt you.
He was cruel to me, Adam.
For a brief moment, Adam and his dorky fetish doll is able to give Lilith hope that she can escape Lucifer's oppression. In a show that has Sabrina slowly embracing her dark side, Lilith mirrors this with the light. Thanks to Adam and her time as Ms. Wardwell, the mortal world rubs off on her.
Swear it. You'll never take it off.
I won't.
If you do,
Not ever. I love you, Mary.
And sure, does Adam get butchered and served up to her for snack time? Absolutely! But because of him, Lilith has finally, after millions and billions of years, seen the world in a whole new light. And it's with this vantage point that Lilith can come to a definitive conclusion that the Dark Lord never loved her and has basically been leading her on for millennia. Satan isn't like a nice guy. He's just gonna keep using her and she's never gonna see the rewards she was promised.
Did you really think you could deceive me, Lilith?
Madam Satan's motivation has always rested on two fundamental pillars: her desire to be respected by her partner and her ambition to become Queen of Hell. Before Adam's death, she had chosen love over ambition, but with him gone, she's left with a renewed thirst for the throne. The Devil's Pride really boned him on that one, because once she knows Sabrina is conclusively his Herald of Hell and future concubine, she's out to eliminate the competition. Consequences be damned. At a point of desperation, Lilith conjures a scarecrow to kill Sabrina. This is another moment where she comes close to passing the moral event horizon, but because her plan predictably falls apart, the viewer is able to gloss over any of those moral implications. It helps that she makes a heel-face turn and partners with Sabrina once the prophecy has been set into motion. It's not so much that she wanted Sabrina dead, but she wanted her eons-old goals to finally be achieved.
perhaps someone's defiance has given me hope. That my story isn't finished yet, that my destiny hasn't been decided yet.
I don't believe you.
Fine, it's because I want the throne and crown.
With some pragmatism, Lilith puts her cards on the table and helps Team Sabrina formulate a strategy to defeat Satan. Thanks to her help, Nick Scratch is able to bind the Dark Lord in a mortal body, preventing the apocalypse and earning her the crown and title of Queen of Hell. To thank Sabrina for giving up her title for her, she returns Sabrina's lost powers and resurrects the less sexy OG Mary Wardwell.
I remember seeing Night of the Living Dead, then waking up.
All of this starts to raise several questions, but the one at the center is simple. Is Lilith still evil? Once again, her character is built on her devotion to Satan and her ambition to ascend to queen. Every evil act she performed was in service to those motivations. Now that Satan is bound and she's achieved her goal, is she inherently still evil? Who is she without the influence of Satan? We've seen that during the Passion of Lucifer Morningstar, Lilith had a strong emotional reaction to her proxy pledging her soul to Lucifer.
Maledictus vir Dei et falsa iugo plebeo.
One way to read that scene is that Lilith has regretted that moment, not just because she lost her freedom, but because this led her down a path of darkness that involved her committing unspeakable acts of evil. We've seen her be murderous and sadistic plenty of times, but how much of that was developed from the unfathomable length of time she spent serving at Lucifer's side? Does it say something that a majority of Lilith's misdeeds have been done out of her necessity to her service of the Dark Lord?
Why do you still serve him?
It's all I've ever known.
What a terrible, weak reason.
It's easy to sit back and say that she still had a choice, but is it really a choice when she's the forever property of a powerful cosmic evil? How many centuries did it take the Dark Lord to break her will like Ramsay Bolton did to Theon Greyjoy?
And then I helped him. I healed him.
Let me remind you that her first inclination after meeting Lucifer was to heal his wounds. Also, so far her first two actions as Queen of Hell have been totally selfless. I know it's not a huge data pool, but it's what we have to work off of, and it shows that Lilith has a nurturing nature when she isn't some kind of demonic crony.
All your witch abilities. So now, my dear, you have both power and freedom. And may you never give up either again.
Even the very act of reviving Mary Wardwell shows that Lilith is willing to undo the greatest moral sin she's successfully gone through with within the confines of the story. She brutally murdered a super good person! In most shows, it's hard to come back from that, but in the Chilling Adventures, this can be easily remedied.
I am famished.
What the hell? That must be my other present from Lilith.
But does the act of reviving Ms. Wardwell make up for killing her? Also, I think it's interesting to consider that death hates to be cheated. So did Lilith trade another mortal life to restore Ms. Wardwell's unbeknownst to Sabrina? Or do we assume that, like Sabrina, Madam Satan now has the power to revive the fallen without consequence? I wouldn't be surprised if next season revealed that those resurrections are more than they seem, possibly involving the Dark Lord trading lives off screen.
Is that why Greendale's so messed up?
It's a nexus. A cursed place.
Regardless, this question of morality of doing and then undoing evil extends past Miss Wardwell. Does Madam Satan get a free pass for driving Roz to blindness, even if it was done with the knowledge that Sabrina would restore her eyesight? She certainly would also have to revive Jesse Putnam and others if she wants to completely clear her slate. Or maybe not. Maybe the act of helping stop the apocalypse gives her a free karma pass.
I don't care if the world ends. One way or the other. It's not my interest. I'll survive either way.
This extends throughout most of the Chilling Adventures, actually, where there are dozens of Satan worshippers, but the line that divides the good from the bad is how they treat women. The same goes for mortals. It seems that misogyny and prejudice is the true evil that our heroes are in a fight against. Lilith herself was a victim of the misogyny of God, cast out for not wanting to be lesser than Adam. Her whole draw to Lucifer and his powers was vengeance for this. Could it now be possible that Lilith will seek out her revenge? Perhaps she'll take a page from Sabrina's playbook, and instead of enslaving hell and earth, she'll unite them in a play to end the misogyny and the hypocrisy of the false god. And if she does, would that be evil?
Why don't you shift your focus?
I don't need you to tell me my business.
Yikes, that was a whole bunch of rhetorical questions I just explored. I haven't used my brain like this since I dated that philosophy major in college. As to whether Madam Satan is good or not, I'm on the fence, but I'd love to know your take on the matter and discuss it in the comments.
You were right, Sabrina. The game, it seems, is not yet over. Somehow, against all odds, there remains a hope in hell. Perfect.
Thanks for watching, and if you want more nerdy deep dives, you should cast a click to the left of my face.
Once more, a special thanks to all of our patrons who make these videos possible. Now farewell, mortals! I will rise again next week!